Friends, when we began this reading of the Gospels, we started with the longest Gospel by total verses, Luke. At some point after a few readings from Luke, we added into a back and forth rotation the longest Gospel by chapters, Matthew. For a little while now, we've been bouncing back and forth between Luke and Matthew. This is the moment when we add John, a unique gospel. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are very similar. They are referred to as the synoptic gospels. John stands alone. There are some things, yes, that are in all four gospels. Make no mistake about that. But there's definitely something of a unique voice in the Gospel of John. And we'll find that. With this video, we begin our encounter with that unique voice, that of John's Gospel, which we now add into a three Gospel rotation between Luke, Matthew, and now John. Before too long, you'll see we'll throw Mark in there as well. The shortest of the Gospels, but we're not quite there yet. But we are at the point of beginning to encounter John. And I love how this gospel begins. This beginning is oh, beautiful, majestic, one of my favorite parts of the whole gospel. The reading from the gospel according to John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him, not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overtake it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood or of the will of the flesh or of the will of man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and lived among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified to him and cried out, "This was he of whom I said, 'He who comes after me ranks ahead of me because he was before me.' From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. The law indeed was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. It is the only Son, himself God, who is close to the Father's heart, who has made him known. This is the testimony given by John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, 'Who are you?' He confessed and did not deny it, but he confessed, 'I am not the Messiah.' And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." Then they said to him, "Who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, 'Make straight the way of the Lord,' as the prophet Isaiah said." Now they had been sent from the Pharisees. They asked him, "Why then are you baptizing if you are neither the Messiah, nor Elijah, nor the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water. Among you stands one whom you do not know, the one who is coming after me. I am not worthy to untie the strap of his sandal." This took place in Bethany across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. Holy wisdom, holy word, thanks be to God.